Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to The House Always Wins. Today's lesson is going to be we're going to be comparing DraftKings to FanDuel, but the lesson for today is going to be on Internet Explorer, which is going to be Microsoft, versus Netscape. So why am I bringing this up? It's basically because in the world there's winners and losers, and you want to be on the side of the winner. And we're taking this lesson back to the 90s. Where we're going to go with Netscape versus Internet Explorer. Short story of this is Netscape got the early lead on making internet browsers. So they beat Microsoft to the table. They had a public offering, an IPO of, this sounds similar to DraftKings, right? They went public, $28 a share. Later that day, it went all the way up to $58.25. And by the end of 1995, this thing went up to $174 a share. So your initial IPO, you get in on that $28, get all the way up to $174. So that sounds good, right? But we all know how this ends. Netscape comes crashing down. Internet Explorer in the first browser war in the market. We're gonna eventually translate this over to daily fantasy sports wars with FanDuel versus DraftKings. But here it is, falling from more than 90% of its mid-highs there, that 160%, and that $160 share price falls 90% by the end of the mid-90s. So, and down to less than 1% in 2006. So what happened? Basically, Microsoft did this thing called bundling, where you used to have to download in the 90s your browser, what you're going to use for your internet browser when you bought a computer. So what did Microsoft do? Anytime they sold a new computer, what they did was this tactic called bundling, where every new computer they sold came with Internet Explorer. So people use what in psychological terms are called defaults. So if I have a default browser, people assume that it's default for a reason. It must be the best. I don't have to take the extra step to go find, buy, download, get a disk. This is we're talking 90 stuff here, and install it. So people just assume defaults are the best. So why does this matter with DraftKings versus FanDuel? DraftKings is the #1 rated daily fantasy sports book platform. We're talking about sports books right here by their users. And the other thing is this polling is why DraftKings is going to win out, is because top of mind. So they did all these surveys, which when you think of daily fantasy sports, what comes to your top of your mind? DraftKings and FanDuel come to the top of the mind here. 27% for DraftKings and 30%. 27% for DraftKings is top of mind. 23% for FanDuel. What do they think of when the survey with preferred? 32% of people preferred DraftKings versus 29% FanDuel. And when the sports book, they're top of mind, 26% for DraftKings and 27% FanDuel. So you got to give the edge there to FanDuel. But their preferred one so far is 31 to 25%. So why does any of this matter? DraftKings is an American company, and they're going huge with American brands like NFL, their partnership with the NFL that FanDuel does not have. These two are already the big dogs. They're way ahead of any daily fantasy sports of Yahoo, ESPN, CBS Sports. Those are all small players when it comes to the daily fantasy sports. And when you come to sports books, like nothing else is even coming close. You've got Bet365, PokerStar, so you've got all these kind of small players. But it's just the marketing dominance that DraftKings is this marketing machine that's going huge in on the NFL. Their analytics, developing it, they're getting all the data off their players on their mobile platforms. The daily fantasy user base, 4+ million users, 8+ years of data. It creates huge head start for the acquisition. The tech-driven platform optimized player-specific LTV. We're going through it down here more. We're going to show you some more of the data points here. Marketing automation delivers the right message to the right user in their own channels. And DraftKings brands, they just acquired SB Tech in this merger with Diamond Eagle. Just basically trying to grow this thing. Average minutes spent per session, DraftKings 6.5 versus FanDuel at 5.1. Here's the app rating, so 4.8 versus 4.7 for FanDuel, and 60.5 thousand versus 58.1 thousand. They're pretty much leading FanDuel in every category: iGaming, sportsbook, and daily fantasy sports. So basically, it's in America here. Like, we're kind of looking at basically only one has to survive out of all of this. Like, one of them is going to eat the other, and everything. DraftKings just has the huge lead. They just got and the important thing with this IPO that just happened is the huge backing of basically players like George Soros, ESPN, the NFL are all on DraftKings side versus SB Tech. FanDuel. They're all like it's basically like they're just too far behind, and as everything keeps rolling, it's all going to be DraftKings going forward. So that's the quick video for today. Is you want to be on the side of the winner in this and invest in the long term, 5 years. This stock price could be over $100. So just what my thoughts are thinking about it. But you want to be on the side of the winner in this one. Okay, see you guys.